Springdale was a haven of quiet, the kind of town where nothing stirred and everyone liked it that way. Retirees, veterans, and families with picket fences and golden retrievers filled its streets, embracing every suburban cliché with pride. On that Saturday morning, the air carried jasmine and diesel, a soft breeze rustling the leaves. My wife, Clara, hummed a Reba McEntire tune under her wide-brimmed hat, planting VY Brandt zinnias along our driveway. It was serene, perfect hours. I sat on the porch's third step, left side, where the wood bore the grooves of years, coffee steaming in one hand, the local paper in the other, my feet basking in that half-sun, half-shade spot I cherished. Peace wrapped around me like a blanket. Then it shattered. A black Chevy Tahoe crept into our cul-de-sac. No plates, no markings, just dark windows and menace. It parked across the street, heavy with intent. Clara's humming stopped. I set the paper down. My gut twisted. Two men emerged, clad in navy shirts emblazoned with HOA Compliance Unit in stark white letters. But I'd served on Springdale's HOA board for 6 years, knew every rule, every face. These men were strangers. They didn't knock or glance at the house. The shorter one, stocky, buzz-cut, mid-40s, stormed onto our lawn with a swagger that screamed trouble, his boots crushing Clara's zinnias without a pause. His partner, lanky and tense, clutched a clipboard and what looked like a taser on his belt, scanning the street like a lookout. "Sir," the stocky one barked, 10 feet from my porch. "Your mailbox VY OLAT's Article 3, Section 12, Non-Standard Materials. You were warned." I stood, slow, squinting. "We've had no warning. This mailbox has stood 8 years. Cedar, HOA-approved color." I signed off on it myself. He ignored me, eyeing the mailbox like a hunter sizing up prey. Then, with a smirk, he raised his boot. Crack. The first kick loosened the panel. Letters, spilled bills, a grocery flyer, a postcard from our son in Colorado. I stepped forward. "Hey, crack." The second kick snapped the post, splintering the wood where my daughter had etched a tiny heart at age 7. That mailbox was my last project with my father before his heart attack, a piece of him carved into our home. It hit the ground like a broken promise. "Violation removed," the man muttered. "What the hell are you doing?" I roared, halfway down the steps. The tall one moved fast. "Sir, step back. Do not escalate. This is legal enforcement. You've got no jurisdiction," I snapped, voice shaking. "Show me your ID, your badge, your orders." He waved the clipboard like a scepter. "Authority per regional HOA ordinance, subsection, that's not real." I cut in. "There's no such thing." He advanced. "I'm warning you." Clara, behind me, whispered, "Call Nate." The stocky one leaned in, smirking. "Next time, we'll take the mailbox with your hand on it." The air turned electric, a storm brewing. I wasn't a fighter, but when someone threatens your wife on your lawn, trampling your family's memories, a line is crossed. "I'm calling my brother," I said, voice low. He shrugged. "Do what you want. We'll be back Monday. Hope your gate's up to code." They sauntered off, casual, as if they'd just mowed the grass, Leah VYing our mailbox in ruins. Clara knelt, gathering splintered wood and scattered mail, her hands trembling. I dialed Nate. He answered instantly. "Speak." I swallowed. "They hit our house, smashed Dad's mailbox," threatened Clara. A beat of silence. 15 minutes. The line went dead. I stood frozen, staring at the wreckage, neighbors' blinds twitching. The sun climbed as Nate's battered Ford Bronco roared into the driveway, dust swirling like a warning. The engine cut, the door swung open, and Nate stepped out, 6 feet 3 inches, arms like forged steel, faded cargoes, a black tee from his last tour. His dog tags clinked faintly. Springdale knew Nate quiet, private, a man who made rooms hush without trying. He scanned the yard, eyes locking on the broken mailbox like it was a fallen soldier. "They did this." His voice was gravel and iron. I nodded, throat tight. Clara stood, dirt smudged on her cheeks, her gaze on Nate, saying everything. "Claimed their HOA compliance," I said. "No badges, no ID. Broke the mailbox, threatened us, said they'll hit the gate next." Nate's jaw twitched. Where? I pointed to the next block. Harassing the Thompsons now. He didn't answer, just walked, each step deliberate like a sniper lining up a shot. I followed, not out of courage, but because I couldn't let him stand alone. At the corner, we saw them same Tahoe, same men. The tall one pounded on a screen door, clipboard raised, demanding yard access. The stocky one lounged nearby, arms crossed, acting like he owned the block. Nate didn't break stride. They sensed him, heads snapping up, like prey catching a predator's scent. The stocky one turned, eyes narrowing, still cocky. Need something? He sneered. Nate stopped 10 feet away, his shadow swallowing them. You're trespassing, he said, voice flat. You destroyed property. You threatened my family. This stops now. The tall one stepped forward, chest puffed. You're interfering with HOA compliance. Back off or face charges. Nate didn't flinch. 60 seconds. Apologize on camera or I intervene. The street froze, air thick as tar. I glanced at the Thompsons' window someone was filming. The stocky one laughed, a brittle sound. Buddy, you've got no idea who you're messing with. This is legal. I'm a guy who breaks knees, Nate said, cutting him off, calm as death. The tall one moved, a fatal mistake, lunging like he could bully his way through. Nate flowed like a blade, sidestepping, seizing the man's shoulder and sweeping his leg in one fluid motion. The man spun midair, then snap. A sickening crack echoed as his knee buckled backward, unnatural, wrong. He hit the pavement screaming, a sound that clawed the soul. A neighbor gasped. A mug shattered. Dogs howled. Nate turned to the stocky one, who'd stumbled back, hand fumbling for what might have been pepper spray. Got something to say? Nate asked. The man raised the canister, trembling. Nate closed the gap in 2 steps, grabbed his wrist, twisted it up, and slammed an open palm in his face, not hard, but precise. The crack of skin and shame rang out. The man crumpled, blood trickling from his nose, eyes streaming. He scrambled to sit, but Nate loomed, a quiet storm. Apologize, Nate said. To my family. On camera. Clara, phone steady, had been filming since Nate arrived, her eyes steel. To him, sorry, the man stammered. To your wife, your family, for everything. Nate stepped back. Smartest move you've made. Neighbors spilled out, phones up, whispers rising. The tall one moaned, clutching his ruined knee. No one helped. The man with the broken knee went silent, pain drowning his bravado, his leg a grotesque twist. The stocky one sat, sprawled, blood smearing his chin, pride gone. The crowd grew misses. Callahan, always sniffing out drama. The Wilsons, their porch cam rolling, a dozen others silent, filming. Are they real cops? Someone muttered. They're nothing now, another hissed. Nate stood like a sentinel, hands loose, breathing even, eyes scanning, not gloating, just V.Y. Gillant, his soldier holding the line. I remembered his words from his last deployment. It's not anger, it's precision. Now I saw it. Clara lowered her phone, voice sharp. Names. The stocky one flinched. M. Mark Dillon. He's Kyle Reese. Nate's gaze burned. Why are you here? Mark's eyes darted, seeking escape, finding none. We were hired. Craigslist ad, private enforcement gig. Some guy pays us to hit neighborhoods, fake HOA fines, collect cash. Said it was easy money. Clara's voice cut like glass. Is there a real HOA here? Mark glanced at me, then the crowd. Yeah, but we thought you'd fold. You seemed soft. A gasp rippled. Soft. The word struck the block like a slap. The elderly Hendersons, the single mom down the street, the Korean war vet next door. All of us, prey in their eyes. The air turned molten. Mr. Larson, a retired deputy, stepped forward, arms crossed. You miscalculated, he growled. Sirens hummed, 2 patrol cars easing in, lights lazy but deliberate. Deputies Miller and Torres stepped out, familiar from town fairs. Miller's daughter and my niece's soccer league. What's this? Miller asked, eyeing the scene. I nodded to Clara. Start with the VY Deo. She handed over her phone. 30 seconds in, their faces hardened. Miller knelt by Kyle, who whimpered, cradling his knee. You need a medic, but you're both under arrest. Torres turned to Mark. No badges. Nothing real, I said. Fake uniforms, fake titles, smashed mailbox, threats. Handcuffs clicked. Impersonation, extortion, property damage, Torres said. Felonies in Arkansas. Phones kept rolling. A neighbor, maybe Lena, whispered, "This is what we needed, someone who fights." Slow clapping started, spreading, not loud, but heavy, a pulse of vindication. Nate didn't react, didn't bask. This wasn't theater, it was justice. As the cruisers hauled Mark and Kyle away, the video spread. Lena posted it to Facebook. Larson texted it to a DA contact. Mrs. Callahan emailed it to the news with "Veteran Stops HOA Scam" in the subject. Nate looked at me. "You good?" I nodded. "You didn't have to come so fast." He shrugged. "Family's non-negotiable." Clara hugged him, tears breaking free. Across the street, a neighbor began fixing the mailbox, tools out, no words needed. By morning, the mailbox stood anew, not our cedar original, its heart-carved VYing lost, but a sturdy oak post, HOA compliant, cemented deep. Neighbors rallied. Larson brought wood, the Wilsons paint. It wasn't just a mailbox, it was defiance. The video hit 2.5 million VYUs by noon, racing across Reddit, X, and veteran forums, titled "Fake HOA Thugs Trash Mailbox, Vet Brother Wrecks Them." Calls flooded Ina Local Reporter, a Patriot podcast, a VFW chapter wanting to honor Nate. A retired prosecutor emailed, "You did what the law can't." But Mark and Kyle weren't lone wolves. Police cracked their phones, exposing a scam spanning 3 states, preying on seniors in quiet towns, extorting thousands over violations. The sheriff's statement hit hard. Organized fraud, stopped by one family stand. They called it the HOA vigilante takedown. Kyle faced surgery, his knee shattered, and later sued Mark for reckless leadership. Mark took a plea. 6 months jail, 5 years probation, banned from HOA work. Nate skipped the trial. "Justice isn't a trophy," he said. Springdale celebrated a block party with ribs, beer, and T-shirts showing Nate's silhouette over 2 crumpled figures. Caption, "Knees bent, block saved." Clara laughed, a rare sound. We added a bronze plaque to the mailbox. For every homeowner who stood firm, every family that fought, every brother who answered the call. Justice wears no badge sometimes, just boots. Strangers came, locals snapping photos. A Marine Leah VYing a challenge coin. A Texas couple DRI VYing 10 hours to shake Nate's hand. Nate dodged the spotlight, welding truck racks, sipping coffee on our porch every Saturday. Cars slowed, windows dropped, voices called, "Thank you." He'd raise his mug, silent. Clara leaned on the rail one morning. "You're a legend." He smirked. "Legends are just true stories we don't let die." I looked at the plaque, the new mailbox, our yard stronger, prouder. It was never about the mailbox. It was the line where fear becomes fury, silence becomes a roar. For me, it was Clara's trembling hands. For Nate, it was one word, threatened. For Springdale, it was watching a quiet man give 60 seconds, then deliver justice. Those fake HOA men thought we'd cower. They didn't know strength doesn't shout, it arrives in a dusty Bronco, steps out in boots, and bends knees when you cross the line. If you were the one in this story, how would you react? Would you stand up and fight back, or accept the unreasonable pressure and control from the HOA? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video with more people. Your small action gives us the motivation to keep bringing you more intense and engaging stories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.